All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we have a Los Angeles Lakers video. If you enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button. Try and post Lakers content and NBA content every single day. Last night, LeBron James, Isaiah Stewart, they both got ejected. They got in a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a scuffle. I don't know for sure if LeBron James elbowed him, caught him with the knuckle. I'm not too sure. Looks like LeBron James tried to handle the situation after. Something happened with Isaiah Stewart. I don't know if it looked like it was DeAndre Jordan and Russell Westbrook. It doesn't even look like he necessarily had a huge issue with LeBron James. Looks like he had an issue it really looked like DJ and Russell Westbrook were chirping, saying some comments, and that's really what looks like it ticked off Isaiah Stewart, because he had LeBron James right in front of him for at least 10 seconds before the whole big scuffle. So it was really interesting because the Lakers were on pace to lose that game, and the Lakers are just coming off a brutal blowout loss against the Boston Celtics, who really have been struggling all year. They were without Jaylen Brown as well. So the Lakers, they were losing to the Pistons. I want to say it was by like 12 or 13 points in the third quarter when this scuffle happened. It was LeBron. It was only his second ejection in his entire career. So I don't think, maybe Isaiah Stewart gets disciplined. Maybe, LeBron James gets disciplined. I don't think LeBron would get disciplined. Maybe Isaiah Stewart. But either way, it was a flagrant 2 foul. I mean, LeBron James definitely needed to be ejected. Whether or not it was intentional, it was a dirty looking play. It was definitely a dirty play. I mean, you can't clip somebody above the neck, so that's just how it is. Now, what happened the rest of the game? That's really why I wanted to make this video, because, if you guys watch my channel, I mentioned all season, and then I reinforced it my last Lakers video a couple of days ago. I really think the Lakers are going to win the championship. They just have way too much talent. And while it has been a disappointing season, like, you could ask a diehard Lakers fan, you could ask any of the Lakers players, you could ask any of the Lakers coaching staff, any of their personnel, I guarantee you, 90% plus, higher than 90% of them say, yeah, this has been a disappointing season. But what did the Lakers do last night without LeBron James, who they were struggling prior when LeBron James was injured the last couple of weeks? The Lakers, they were really struggling without him. So what happens? They come back on the road and they beat the Detroit Pistons. And I know they beat the Detroit Pistons and they're 4-12, and it's interesting with Detroit because they're a talented team. I think that the Lakers are getting a little bit too much hate for beating on the Pistons, who have, got a couple of wins against the Thunder. They got some wins against the Rockets. For the most part, the Detroit Pistons are, definitely rebuilding and definitely towards the lower scale this season as of right now in the NBA as far as talent goes. So the Lakers are getting some heat for only beating the Pistons, but I saw that comeback win as kind of similar to, it looks like, what Melo did. Melo basically after said, I'm thinking this might be that, we might look back after the season and be like, this is exactly what sparked us. And I really think it will, because as Anthony Davis came out and said today, he's like, everybody knows LeBron James is not a dirty player. And so what's going to happen, all of these Lakers players, they're going to back their teammate. Not only because it's their team, it's also LeBron James, it's also the king. So they're going to back him even more. So I think this really is going to help unite this Lakers team, because you look at them, especially their star players are a little bit on the older side. LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, but they have the most talent of any team, of a full roster on any team in the NBA right now, in my opinion. Despite their age, they have the most talent. So you beat the Pistons, which it shouldn't even be overlooked, because you beat a 4-12 Pistons team, but it was a comeback. It was on the road. You guys have been struggling prior. The Lakers probably had their best fourth quarter of the season. They had great defense. They had solid offense. Everyone was getting involved. They were doing a lot. So what happens and I know it's just the Pistons, and it's just Isaiah Stewart, 20-year-old Isaiah Stewart, but this might put a little bit more of a target on LeBron's back, on the Lakers' back, and that is a good thing because it is only going to unite this basketball team because they're going to realize, look, not only is it all or nothing for a lot of us to try and win a championship, but we're all we have, right? Whether or not you like the roster, whether or not you like the coach, this is what you have. So you got to make do with what you have, and you got to make the most of it. And I fully anticipate that's what LeBron James is going to say. That's what he's going to be preaching as his message. And once LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook get like 5 straight games played together, they should be clicking. They should start to be clicking. And that right there is going to be the start. And once again, don't overlook this Lakers win against the Pistons because that's what makes championship teams. You are supposed to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And at 9-9, 8-9 heading into tonight, that's what the Lakers were lacking. The Lakers have beaten some bad teams. They've beaten some good teams as well. It's been very inconsistent. That's the issue, is it's been way too inconsistent. They're still losing to way too many bad teams. Like, you can't have 2 comebacks against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, you just can't have that. And so I really think 9-9, it's all being pieced together. And I look at a lot of these younger guys as well, like THT. Ever since THT has been healthy, inserted into the starting lineup, he has done wonders. And another thing, Carmelo Anthony. When does Carmelo Anthony play his best? This season. It's when LeBron James is out there. It generates more wide open looks for everybody on the court. If you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James out there at the same time, not only are they going to feast because they really feed off of each other and each other's game plans, game styles, skill sets, strengths, weaknesses, they really mesh well. Russ is going to get included into that, and that's why you have all these floor spacers, guys like Carmelo Anthony, guys like Wayne Ellington, guys like Malik Monk, even guys like THT to help out on the defensive end. This Lakers team, once they get healthy, I still don't think that they're done making roster moves. I don't think Russ will get traded. I don't think they're done making roster moves. I do think they'll make some low-key moves once we get closer towards the trade deadline on the buyout market. But for the most part, this Lakers team, if they can just come together, stop letting egos and personalities clash, outside of injuries, I think egos are the only issue that the Lakers really have to deal with. If they're healthy and their egos are not clashing, they're going to be tough to stop. So that's it for today, guys. Hit the like button, hit that sub button. Still trying to hit 9,000 subscribers. We're about 60 away, trying to hit that by the end of the month. There's only like a week or so left. So if you guys are new here, really appreciate the subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.